Hey everybody, it's Poutine Politics. I'm Adam.
I'm Mike.
And this is another attempt at recording our little anniversary message to say, hey, it's our 1 year anniversary.
Yes, it's our 1 year anniversary. Amazing we made it to make it to this point. I'm thankful for everybody that listens. I'm thankful for Adam for doing all the stuff he does, especially the editing and the counterpoint punches, which I truly enjoy. It's nice having somebody who may not agree with you, but respects you enough to not say, well, this so dumb.
I get, you know what, and I want to thank everybody that's been listening. I want to thank Mike. You know, we've been friends for a long time, and I'm glad that we had that conversation last spring that led to us actually doing this.
Yeah.
You know, like that was, you know, what were we? We were hanging, or we saw each other at the mall, and we started talking about stuff, and then I contacted you a couple weeks later, like, hey, would you want to do a podcast about politics? And you're like, yes.
Well, what it was is that I laughed. My wife and I were talking about the fact that there's only a handful of people I would ever have a conversation that with like this, like a podcast with, and it was you, my other friend. Well, I guess you know too, Chris. Is because he's left, you're center, and I'm right. And it would be great because everyone respects everybody in the room, so it wouldn't be browbeating or gaslighting or superiority complexes or anything like that. It was just, you know, let's have an intelligent conversation, and when we see flaws, let's rail against them and have fun at it. Yep.
Right? Yeah, exactly. This I think we said when we started this thing, it's not about one side is right more than the other, or okay, here's something that's going on. Let's talk about it, and let's tell what our opinions are, or let's see where we agree or disagree on this.
Yeah, and I always love taking taking the piss out of it. Was metaphor I like to use, because there's certain things that are just silly or absurd, and those things make me laugh the most. And sometimes bringing light to a situation helps it, and also can be amusing. So sometimes I pick out some of the weirdest, strangest stories I've ever heard of, and other times I'll pick a story that's relevant and now.
Exactly. So along that vein, what we decided to do for our 1 year episode. So we recorded an episode about Doug Ford back in November, and kind of held on to it because there was never a good time really for it to come out through Christmas and things like that. And then when COVID hit, Doug Ford was kind of doing a good job. So, Mike, why don't you take it from there, and why you think now is the time to bring this episode out?
Well, the thing about it was, it's a pre-episode, so you know we'll explain it. But it's basically everything before he got elected as premier. So the timetable didn't matter. It wasn't like we had to do it at a certain time because it matched. But now Doug's gone back to the way of being Dougie, where he's doing things rather than saying, you know, let's do the right thing, let's take a measured approach, let's leave it to the experts. He's now starting to play the blame game. He's now starting to go, well, it's these people's fault. Really? You don't have to throw people under the bus. You don't have to make yourself look good. You don't have to make someone else look bad. And every time you do that, every time you try to make someone else look bad, you have to understand that people don't think, well, they shouldn't think that you're strong. They should think that you're weak, right? And that's the thing you have to understand, is that somebody who's willing to berate people is going to be willing to do it to you too. Like, don't think you're some kind of exempt from it.
Yeah, exactly.
And now Dougie's gone back to being Dougie, and now it's perfect time to release it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we had the discussion about, or a very quick discussion about it, because we recorded a couple of episodes last weekend, which will be coming out, at some point soon, I think. And yeah, we were kind of like, okay, well, do we want to use one of these episodes? And then, yeah, I thought, oh yeah, I still have this Doug Ford episode that we haven't released. And we both agreed, yep, you know what? All of a sudden, Doug Ford is, like you said, he's gone back to being Dougie. He's not COVID Doug anymore. He's Dougie.
No. He's Dougie. He still has elements of COVID, Doug. Like,
a little bit.
When he's dealing with COVID, he is still, for the most part, on point with being COVID Doug. But here, the question will be, and it remains to be seen, if we get a second wave, how will he react this time around?
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping we still get the same one. I really, really do hope. I was blown away, and I will applaud him for his approach, his measured approach, and he certainly earned a lot more respect from me as a result of that. There's no question in my mind. I was really hoping that he could hang his legacy on that and use it like Hurricane Hazel from Mississauga and just ride it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to be this person, and now I know I never have to worry about getting elected again because I'm that great. Instead, he's used it and now is trying to go right back to the way he was.
Right,
which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and you look at some of the things that they've introduced just in the last couple of weeks, and realize, oh yeah, that's right. This is still that government that felt like they needed to cut more services and do and the people on that side will say, well, he's not cutting their budgets. It's like it's more than just money. It's more than just the money that you need to look at when it comes to these kinds of things that the government is changing. If they're spending
it's careful accounting,
right? If they're spending the same money, that's one thing. But okay, I don't want to get too far into it because this is only supposed to be an introduction to the episode. But
yeah, he's just the PC party's gone back to their PC ways of in Ontario of we're going to say we're paying the same amount, but we're actually introducing something new that makes our ledgers better.
That's right.
Okay. Right. That's the same thing.
Yep. So, anyways, for those of you that have been listening to us since episode number 1, congratulations for making it this far, and thank you for listening. Without further ado, this is an episode on Doug Ford before he became the Premier of Ontario. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. The reason why he was elected is because the PCs could have had a wet paper bag as their leader, and they still would have won that election. Welcome back to Poutine Politics, Canadian Issues Served with Cheese Curds. My name is Adam.
My name's Mike.
And Mike's got a special present for us today.
I would say that. I spent far too much time on a quiz, and it's going to be describing Doug Ford before he became the leader of the Ontario PC party.
Oh, okay. So
okay.
pre-election, as it were.
Yes, not during. I'm not talking because you could get into a well of promises made, promises kept. Thankfully, there are other podcasts that deal with that issue, so I don't have to do a 26-part episode.
Yay! Oh, we can do it anyways. I mean,
like anytime I'm bored, I can just go to Doug Ford.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the benefits of living in Ontario. Woo!
Right? And keep in mind, you can bash any political person you want to for various policy ideas. These probably have nothing to do with policy. I can't think of a policy where I'm like, well, this isn't policy. This is just Doug Ford.
Well, the only way you can make fun of policy is if you actually have policy.
We can get into that. That's why I said there's 26 episodes if I wanted to. We could spend a half a year in Doug Ford and never run out.
We're going to drop the price of gas by 10 cents a liter.
We're going to find 4 cents in the dollar. Oh, we found 8 cents in the dollar. How do we find 8 cents in the dollar? We just cut everything.
Yes. We're so efficient.
Okay. So I'm going to read the question. I'll read some multiple choice because it's fair to have multiple choice.
Okay.
And then I'll give a little bit of time so that way everyone listening at home that wants to take part in the quiz can also take part in the quiz. Question number 1.
No Google searches.
Well, if you're going to do that, why bother?
Exactly. Don't cheat.
Like, you want to cheat, go ahead.
I'm on to you, Greg.
Yeah, Greg. Yeah, if you're going to cheat, just listen to the end. Like, I don't understand why you're going to... I'm going to get 12 out of 12. No one's going to know. You can just put that in the YouTube comments that I got 12 out of 12. Great. Good for you. I will definitely thumbs that up if you put 12 out of 12, if it makes you happy.
Somebody's going to now. All right, question 1.
In 2014, the Globe and Mail ran an article alleging which of the following about Doug Ford in the 1980s. Doug Ford was charged in relation to a drug-related kidnapping, a video service depicting Doug using weed at his home in Etobicoke. Doug Ford received an award for his volunteer work within the community. Doug Ford was a mid-level drug dealer, or E, all the above. I didn't say it's easy.
Okay. Because I was gonna say just when you read off the mid-level drug dealer one, but then you said all of the above, and I'm like, oh man, was it all of the above? I honestly don't remember. I'm just gonna go with the mid-level drug dealer one.
You are correct.
Hey,
you are correct.
I like you said the one about the video, and I'm like, I think that's the one that's throwing me off because it was Rob that was recorded smoking crack, and I don't remember anything coming out about Doug smoking marijuana in his house.
No,
being recorded.
But I got the wrong Ford when I said was charged in relation to a drug-related kidnapping. That was the elder brother, Randy.
Oh, Randy Bobandy.
Now, to further this, there was the newspaper defended its report and even went to the Ontario Press Council hearing, and they dismissed the complaints against the newspaper and found that the coverage was fair and ethical, which is important because question number 2, when confronted with this article, Doug Ford responded how? Doug Ford planned on suing the newspaper for libel, but never did, and 4 years later said that it would be a waste of his time. Doug Ford refused any comment on the article. Doug Ford acknowledged the hard work and dedication of the Globe and Mail. Doug Ford launched his own investigation of the reporter who wrote the story, or E, all the above.
Oh, man. I will also answer D, that he investigated the reporter.
You would be incorrect.
Yeah. Okay.
It was A.
Okay.
A is Doug Ford planned on suing the newspaper for libel, but never did, and 4 years later said it was a waste of his time.
I suppose the investigation would probably have been like above his pay grade, as it were, quote unquote.
Are you going to put it past the man?
Well, maybe.
All right.
I'm not necessarily saying that he wouldn't have done something like that if he could. I'm doubting whether he could. But anyways.
Okay. Question number 3. According to a lawsuit filed by Renetta Ford, widow of the former mayor of Toronto, Rob Ford, who's also Doug Ford's brother, which of the following was Doug Ford accused of while in charge of Deco, the label company that his
Deco
father...
labels, yeah.
A, Doug was president of the company and collected a salary while still a Toronto city councillor, a conflict of interest. B, Doug Ford moved the company head office to Toronto to ensure that he could exploit tax loopholes. C, Doug gave the company a new life using Delta Epsilon Mu Beta business practices. D, Doug was given an exuberant salary, including cars and trips, despite company losing money. Or E, all the above.
I don't even know what that third thing is. Delta, what was it? Delta Epsilon?
Mu Beta.
Oh! Okay, never mind. See, I thought the company was moved to Chicago for tax purposes, not moved back to Toronto. So I don't think that one's right.
Okay.
But I think it's the conflict of interest one.
You would be incorrect.
Yeah.
While he was a city councillor, he actually donated his salary.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he didn't receive it.
He donated his city council salary.
Oh, okay, all right.
As part of it, but he was still remaining as chief executive officer. He was not the president at the time, though.
See, I would...
No,
I know. You know what? If I was... I would still classify that as a conflict of interest, but whatever. I guess.
No, it's not a conflict of interest because he's not. I'll explain later.
Okay,
it'll be
That's
later.
fine.
That's a foreshadowing for later.
Okay.
Okay.
So what was the answer?
It was D. Doug was given an exuberant salary, including cars, trips, despite the company losing money.
Yeah, and I remember hearing something about that part as well, but I was like, part of me is like, did that happen before he became a city councilor or whatever? Whatever. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 4. In the lawsuit filed by Renetta, Rob Ford's widow, it was alleged that Doug had done which of the following? Doug advised Renetta not to seek any legal advice. Doug took money from Doug Ford Sr.'s estate to fund Deco labels as they were losing money. Doug sold the shares from Rob's estate for $1 to Randy Ford. Doug kept Rob Ford's life insurance and bank accounts from Renata Ford. Or E, all the above.
That one is definitely all of the above.
Which is frightening.
I'm like, as you're reading those, I'm nodding like, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, I remember that too. I remember reading about that. Oh, yeah. Oh,
now,
yeah.
keep in mind, because this is an ongoing lawsuit, it is alleged. So the previous 5 questions are all alleged. They're all from accredited sources, but they're all alleged. So we don't know for sure whether or not any parts of those are 100% factual.
Okay.
But they're all from accredited sources, so take it for what it is.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Everybody remember this word. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Like this question, for instance, question number 5 is also allegedly. Okay?
Allegedly.
Prior to the lead-up of the Ontario Progressive Conservatives leadership race, Doug Ford was allegedly doing the following. Doug took out an ad in the Toronto Star to try to get Ford Nation to enroll in the PC party. Doug advocated that at Ford Fest to not have any alcohol served, as the risk of drunk driving from that event would be too great. Doug got citizens to sign up to be a member of the PC party illegally. Doug paid for and served coffee to homeless people at a Tim Hortons in Etobicoke. Or E, all the above.
E. I'm going to go all the above because I wouldn't put it past him to do the coffee thing, but some of that other stuff too sounds like totally something he would have done.
C. Doug got citizens to sign up to be a member of the PC party legally. Basically, he went into Tim Hortons and was caught on the audio. Now, the part that's alleged is that they can't confirm that it was him. Like, he hasn't admitted to it has been him. There's audio tapes. There's a sworn affidavit saying this, but basically it's like, hey, sign up. Don't worry about the cost. Don't worry about completing the form. We'll get that taken care of.
I mean, like,
and
it's only, like, the membership cost is only $10.
I'm aware.
Like, okay, anyways.
And you really think Doug Ford's going to say no to alcohol being served at his Ford Fest?
Well, no,
Come on now.
probably not.
That was my
But
giveaway.
I think, okay. My thought process with that one was, if it was either A, before he was chosen to run the party, which really, considering that Ford Fest happens in the summer, I guess that would have been way too early anyways. But that was kind of part of my thought process. It's like, maybe him or someone in his PR staff would be smart enough to say, we can't afford a PR disaster. Yes, I know you're looking at me weird. Like, are we talking about Doug Ford here or what? Like, PR disaster? What are you talking about?
Okay. I want to make
somebody somewhere had to at least have had a little bit of a thought like that might have been a good idea, and it probably just got shot down. But whatever.
A reporter asked him about drunk driving and drinking related problems when he announced Bucket Beer.
Yes.
His response was, Ontarians are smart enough to figure this out and stuff. They're mature enough to be responsible.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I mean. Benefit of the doubt. Trying to give the benefit of the doubt. I don't know why I bother, but I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, we're going to shadow that.
All
okay,
right.
Question number 6. Doug Ford claimed the following prior to election proceedings for the PC's leadership. A. Doug requested that a paper ballot system would be adopted to reduce irregularities in the votes. B. Doug suggested that an extension for the PC leadership race should be provided and would ask for a similar extension for the provincial elections that fall. C. Doug promised that the elections were not run fairly and that he would contest the results. D. Doug promised to scrap the current model of electoral system for the PC leadership party in favor of a system that better represented what Doug called his, quote, folks had. Or E. All the above.
D. The folks one.
No, he does call them folks,
Yeah.
but that's not true. It is definitely C because he said that the elections were rigged.
This is the party elections.
Party elections.
Okay.
He said the party elections were rigged, even though he's been alleged of rigging said party elections.
Okay.
Who else said that they wouldn't trust votes? Do we know any other politician that said they trust votes?
That was why.
I don't know any
That was
other.
why I thought that was the trick one, because I'm like, that's a Trump thing, and Jason Kenney.
Yeah, there's other politicians that have said that similar thing.
Yes.
That also got their company from their fathers.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay. So question number 7. This takes a little bit of background for it.
Okay.
So we have to set it up. Okay. While Doug Ford was a Toronto councillor, an issue came up about a home arranged by Ontario Youth Child Services. Doug and his staff had arranged an hour-long meeting with the Griffin Centre staff and members of the community. The Griffin Centre had 4 successful homes like this, one across the GTA. And this home is a residential home for developmentally disabled youth with mental health issues.
Oh, God. I can already see where this is going.
Okay. Are you ready? During this meeting, the following happened. A. Doug showed up 25 minutes late. B. Doug told the Griffin staff, you ruined the community. C. Doug told the staff, you can't destroy a community like this. People have worked 30 years for their homes. My heart goes out to the kids with autism, but no one told me they'd be leaving the house. D. Doug told the Griffin staff, if it comes down to it, I'll buy the house myself and resell it. Or E. All the above.
I'm waiting to give that break so that other people that are listening to this can figure out their answers. But I mean, I got to say all the above.
Oh, of course, it's all the above.
Oh, that's all I can say. That's all I can say about it. But it doesn't surprise me.
Okay, question number 8.
That's it. That's what I got.
Doug Ford was accused of calling a female reporter a little bitch immediately after a series of tough questions. In response, Doug Ford did the following. A. Doug denied the claim, saying the media was after the Ford family again. B. Doug said he wasn't talking about that reporter, but someone else. C. Doug refused to comment. D, Doug threatened to sue for libel, or E, all the above?
Surprisingly, you can do all of the above in that situation. So I'm going to go with E.
You would be incorrect.
Damn. Okay.
He only said that he wasn't talking about that reporter, but someone else. Because somehow saying that about anyone is okay if you're running for Toronto's mayor.
Oh, that was during the mayoral race.
That was during the mayoral race.
Right. Okay. That reminds me of the Doug Ford comment about I have plenty to eat at home or whatever.
That's Rob Ford.
I know that was Rob, but
yeah.
You know, it's along the similar line, right?
Yes. Yeah. Rather than saying, you know, hey, I shouldn't make that comment or it was taken out of context. No. He just said, I was talking about that little bitch. I was talking about a different little bitch. And yes, everyone who knows, I did completely rip that joke from John Oliver.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, question number 9. Doug Ford has claimed that all media is against him and his family. Which of the following is true? A, Doug has advised everyone in the media that they should learn how to play golf to further their career opportunities. B, Doug has appointed former VP of Post Media Jamie Wallace to the position of Chief of Staff. C, Doug made a promise that once elected Premier of Ontario, he would retract all negative statements about the media to extend an olive branch. D, Doug claimed that after his political career is done, he will open up his own print media outlet. E, all the above.
I don't see D being a possibility at all, which means E is out as well. I don't know who his chief of staff is. I know I remember the thing about the chief of staff that essentially got canned because of the autism stuff and the education stuff. I'm going to go with A, the golf one.
No.
Okay.
Even though he hates all media and says all media's out to get some, he promotes a person vice president of Post Media to his chief of staff.
Okay.
Everyone's against them.
Yeah.
Now, the comment about the golfing thing is related to female reporters specifically. He will tell them that they should take up golf for further career opportunities. On the air.
Okay. That doesn't even make any sense.
Well, because they don't know how to do their job.
Yes.
So he's suggesting, don't bother with this.
Oh, okay.
Go play golf.
Go play golf.
Because you'll be better at it.
Okay.
Okay, question number 10. When Doug Ford was confronted about whether or not he is anti-Semitic, the following statements are true.
Okay.
A, he said, you know something? My doctor's Jewish, my Jewish dentist, my Jewish lawyer, hold on, my Jewish accountant.
Yeah.
Okay. B, Doug Ford claimed that his wife is Jewish and that her mother is Jewish. C, Doug Ford's wife claim is that her mother's family has Jewish bloodlines and that she doesn't practice the Jewish faith. Or D, former Canadian Jewish Congress CEO Bernie Farber said that Doug Ford's wife's claim she is Jewish is totally disingenuous. Or E, all the above.
That's all the above. I remember that story. I remember the whole thing. I remember when that came out, and I'm like, yeah, this is going to sound great.
Perfect. 10 out of 10. Okay, question number 11. Which of the following statements that Doug Ford issued about then Police Chief Blair as a result of an ongoing investigation of his brother Rob Ford is true?
Okay.
Doug stated that payback was the reason Bill Blair contract wasn't renewed. B, Doug Ford stated that this is why there needs to be a change at the top in regards to Blair's contract. C, Doug Ford stated that Chief Blair was responsible for the leak to the newspapers with regard to the subpoena of Rob Ford. D, in 2014, Doug Ford was sued for libel by Bill Blair until he released a formal written apology and held a press conference retracting his statements. Or E, all the above.
All the above. E.
It is.
Yeah.
It was also the same day that Rob Ford said, hey, can you ask me that question again? That was when all the statements came out. So Doug Ford came out first.
Yeah.
And said, you know, he didn't get his contract renewed. Payback was in order.
Yeah.
And then Rob Ford came in and had that press conference where he went, hey, can you ask me that question again?
Oh, yes. Okay.
And everyone's mouth in the media went to the floor because they've never heard of that in their entire life.
Yeah.
Oh, but he'll still be mayor. Right?
Yes.
Because, you know, that makes sense.
Well, that was also around, I think that was also around the time that council basically stripped a lot of Rob Ford's powers as mayor as well.
Yeah, once that went through, that's when they just started stripping everything from him.
Yeah, exactly.
Question number 12. While Doug Ford was a counselor, the following outcome was ruled by the then Integrity Commissioner. A. Doug was found to use his office to promote his own business. B. Doug was cleared of all charges related to investigation into drug use at City Hall. C. Doug was found to have asked police chief to investigate corruption at a local police station. D. Found to have taken a label maker home in an attempt to increase production capacity for Deco labels. Or E. All the above.
All of the above.
No!
Ah!
Take a label maker home to increase production capacity.
Why not? Why
man.
not?
I really had to throw that in there because it made me laugh my butt off when I wrote it. No, he was found to have to legally use his office. So
To promote his business, yeah.
Yeah. So the Integrity Commission basically said Council Ford took no steps to establish clear lines of separation between his responsibilities as a member of council and his duties as a principal of DECO.
I'm waiting for this to happen with the whole carbon tax label thing on the gas pumps, because it wasn't Deco Labels that made those labels; it was another company, and it's the wrong type of label, and they've all been peeling off. He doesn't even have to say anything, and I'm just waiting. Oh, we're gonna have new labels, and they're gonna come from Deco Labels because that's just what's gonna happen.
Well, the thing that baffled me to no end, and this is the thing that always drove me nuts about the lead up to the provincial election, was that there was this big push about how corrupt Kathleen Wynne was.
Yes.
Now, who fell on the sword in that one? It was Dalton McGuinty, because he resigned, and the guy who did time. You could make the argument that she may have knowledge. You can also make the valid argument that she didn't have knowledge. Both can be valid.
That was to do with the gas plant cancellation thing.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Doug Ford was found out to have illegally done something for his business. The only reason he couldn't be reprimanded because he wasn't a city councilor at the time. Because when they found out, it was in 2016 and it was 2014 he did it. And he wasn't councilor because he ran for mayor.
Right.
And he didn't run for office.
Yeah, and he lost to John Tory.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
So there's no question whether or not he's corrupt. You can make an argument that Kathleen Wynne may or may not be corrupt, but there's no arguing about whether or not he's corrupt. This is not a man that I would hold to the highest esteem of caliber. And I look at, and if I like to use Jason Kenney as a barometer. Jason Kenney, I can
That's a steep barometer.
Okay. Jason Kenney, if I'm going to have an issue with him, it's going to be on policy.
Okay.
Right? Like most of the stuff he's doing is policy based.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Right?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Right? Like Doug Ford is a terrible person. Like he's a bigot, he's an anti-Semitic, and he's a chauvinist.
Okay. Yeah.
Like if you ever heard him talk to reporters, female reporters, he'll say, "Let me do your job for you." Well, in an interview with them.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talk policy because, I mean, at some point in time we can talk policy and what decisions he's made. But this is not a man that should be leading anything.
Yep.
And yet, and yet people openly elected him. I'm like, why? How? And like the number of things have come out after the fact too. It's not any better. Keep in mind, people, this is before he got nominated. It's before he actually won the election for the PC leadership.
Yeah.
Not before he got elected premier.
What amazes me about the situation when he became the leader is that I wouldn't say that the party did a 180, but I would say that they had a certain path that they were on, and there were members of the party that were kind of on that path. The whole situation with Patrick Brown and being more progressive and things like that. I feel like there were some higher up MPs in the party that were on that path with him. And then the whole situation with the sexual allegations came out, and Patrick Brown was out of the party like literally within 2 hours of these apparent allegations coming out. And then they have the leadership convention and the election, and it kind of came down to Christine Elliott and Doug Ford. And Christine Elliott is a smart woman. Okay?
Yep.
Like, she is a smart woman. She knows what she's doing, and she knows what she's talking about. But she loses to Doug Ford, and it's like, okay, well, all hands on deck. Everybody follow the Doug Ford train. Woo woo. It's the problem that I have with party politics right now. and probably have for a while, but it's just even more evident, is that there's so much focus on the leader, and everybody has to follow the leader. And I mean, do I expect that, say, the higher ups in the party are not going to follow the leader? No, I suppose not. But I know that at the same time that at least some of those people are better than that, and to completely 100% put aside your own policy beliefs and feelings and things like that, because, well, we have to stick to what the leader is saying. I think it hurts your image as the person who knows what they're talking about, and it obviously makes you come across as disingenuous as well, and it's going to hurt your chances in the future.
I can easily see the next election Doug Ford just gets trampled, and I don't think Wynne did necessarily a bad job, but I don't want that man in that role.
Yeah.
Like, if he had to resign, if there's a way that he had to resign for whatever reason,
yeah.
I don't know what kind of controversy that he already hasn't had that could possibly make him resign. Like, I mean, look at the trail that he has behind him. I mean, what more do you need? But I mean, pretend that there was something that could make him resign and they nominated somebody else. I'd have no problems voting PC and getting another PC person in,
right,
based on my political views. But
not someone with the same mindset, not someone with the same policy belief, though, right? Like, I mean, the party needs to change. The party was on the right track. Yeah. And then it just,
Patrick Bland's platform, which I was wholly behind, was I'm going to introduce a cap and trade system, and that's how I'm going to fund my budget.
Yeah.
That's genius. But, that went off the rails.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of other things, and I'm actually holding back different statements that I could say to further this, but that could be podcast for other days.
Yes, exactly.
Doug Ford is an infinite well. Anytime I feel like I don't know have a topic, I can be like, Doug Ford, I've got 3 weeks. I'm good.
I'm good.
I could do 5 weeks of Doug Ford. Easy.
Yeah. With like very little research, probably, right?
I'd have to do the research because I don't want to say something that's untrue.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Because I want to be factual.
All right. Well, this has been a quiz on Doug Ford pre-PC party. Thanks for listening. My name's Adam.
My name's Mike.
We'll talk to you soon.